Hey guys, it's been a really long time, and today I realized that it's been, sorry, I've got allergies right now, so my throat's really scratchy. I realized that it's been 5 months since I've done an update on the 10-gallon tank, which is a really long time, and a lot has changed, so I'm trying to do a nice thorough update of that tank today. As you can tell, or hopefully you can tell, this shot right now is it's just a screenshot of the last video I did, last update I did on this tank. So this is what the tank looked like back in January, at the beginning of January, and this is what it looks like now. So as you can tell, obviously the baby tears have really taken off. Or the HC, whatever people prefer to call them on here. I think most people call them HC. But I don't know what happened, because for the longest time they just kind of stayed in little clumps like that, and some of them were dying off and not doing so well. And then all of a sudden they just took off. All I really did was increase the potassium dosing and the Flourish Excel dosing by a little bit, and that seemed to make all the difference for them, and they just took off. So I'm really pleased with the growth. This camera washes them out a little bit because of the light, but you can see that they're really thick and really green, like blindingly green with this light, because it's so bright for this little tank. But I'm really pleased with the growth and the rate that it's been spreading. You can see that, like, this clump here was the unoriginal planted clump, because it's so high and bushy, and then you can see how it just is spreading out really well along the substrate. I think that in an old video of mine, I said to someone that I thought the baby tears preferred the Fluval shrimp stratum, which was in my 4-gallon tank, but I think I'd like to take that statement back and say that I find that it grows better in the EcoComplete, which I've always said is my favorite substrate, and I would never use anything else. I think that it does really well for the plants. I also had somebody tell me once that it does not contain any nutrients. That was a false statement, but that's not true. It definitely does if you read the bag. It's pretty chock full of stuff, and I've found that it makes a really big difference in the growth of my plants, especially when setting up a new tank, and that it, despite having lots of nutrients, it doesn't, I don't find that it makes, it contributes to algae growth at all, because I don't ever really have a problem with that in the planted tanks that I've used EcoComplete in. So some other changes in this tank. I'll just show you how it's growing up the side of the rock here, which I was really hoping it would do, and how it's creeping along the back here. So this bare spot in the back was where I used to have this Hygrophila. You can see it in this picture here, what it used to look like behind there. It started to get a little bit crowded, and so I decided to switch it to this side of the tank, and it's doing really well. I think it really likes the conditions in here. I've never had so much success with one of these as I have in this tank. I think that whatever it is about the water parameters, the lighting and everything, it really likes. And see it back here. Some pretty crazy roots coming down. But basically, all I've really done in this tank, I've taken out all of the plants except for, sorry, I'm having some focusing issues. Just bear with me a second. Sorry, it's out of focus, guys. I took out all the plants in this tank except for the baby tears and these, I think this is dwarfs, no, this is, oh, it's terrible, I've forgotten what kind of grass this is, microsword. Take it out, just because I can't take that out even if I wanted to, because you see it's all like growing in amongst the baby tears. The roots are probably all tangled up. But I had some crypts in here and a few other plants. I took them out. I may even take out the hygrophila eventually as well. I just find that in a smaller tank it ends up looking better just having less plants, and I really like the way this looks with it just being all of the having all the baby tears just across the board like that. I really like the way that looks, and I think that I'll probably keep it that way, and I'm just waiting for the blank spots to fill in, and then I'll go from there. I did have the Emerald Eye Rasboras in here. They are no longer in here. They weren't happy. They were scared and stressed out all the time. So I kind of felt like I wanted to put them back in the 65-gallon because they were obviously way happier in there. And I replaced them with this guy here. And it's really, really too bad that this camera is so crappy, because he is the coolest color of Abetta that I've ever seen. He kind of looks like an oil stain, like when certain light catches him. Like in this camera he looks blue, but he's not blue at all. He's like this kind of metallic green and purple and brown color. But I picked him up a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really happy to have him in here. I've never been a big fan of bettas before, because I've kind of found them boring and kind of listless, uninteresting fish, but I've actually found that when they're kept in the right conditions, like in a nice warm tank that they feel happy and secure in and have a little bit more swimming room, they're actually extremely interesting and active fish, and bright and happy. He does lots of swimming around this tank, and I'm just really surprised at what strong swimmers they are, despite these tails. I think he's a little bit afraid of the camera in his face right now, so he's not really doing his thing, but I'm really happy that I picked him up, and kind of decided to give keeping Betas. I'm sorry, it's early in the morning. Tongue-tied. I'm excited that I decided to keep one, because I think that I didn't give them enough credit before, and that they're really beautiful fish, and I think that he looks really good in here. His colors suit the tank well, and yeah, I'm just pleased to be able to give him a nice place to be, because oftentimes they just get the shitty end of the stick and get put in really crappy situations just because of misconceptions and things like that. But that's the update on the new tank. I don't know what's going on with the focus on my camera, so hopefully I can sort that out before I move on to doing updates of the other tanks. But for those of you who are still checking my channel, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the new subscribers and people who still stick around to see if I post videos. I'll try not to leave 5 months in between videos anymore. Thanks for watching. Bye.